Are you moving your chickens a long distance, either across the country or literally to a new neighborhood? Well, in this video, we're going to be going over all the tips and tricks you need to know for that. So your happy little chickens will definitely be a lot happier with their new place. Let's go. First and foremost, you need to make sure that your place allows chickens, because if you're moving like very small town, like 2,000 people, to a city with like 52,000 people, I doubt they're going to allow chickens, or they'll have restrictions on them, such as rooster bans. So if I were moving to, like, I don't know, a bigger city, but they still allowed chickens, probably more likely than not we'd have to get rid of like Falcon and Waldo if we wanted to move there with my chickens. And plus, I bet there's also a number ban on the amount of chickens you have. I don't know if that's true for all cities, but for certain cities that is 100% true, because people just complain and they don't really want roosters, because, you know, they're trying to make sure your neighbor doesn't throw a brick through your window at 4:30 a.m. Next, you need to distinguish how far your location is. I recommend Google Maps. So you're going to select where you live, and you're going to go select the next place, which is, let's just say I'm moving from X to Y. You can insert literally any random number you want in there, or street, or whatever. So you're going to move there. You want to make sure that it's usually you want to make sure that the trip is pretty quick. But if it's not pretty quick, then it might be a bit harder to move. But either way, let's show you how to prepare. So on the night before you move, usually I'd recommend more moving during the morning, probably on like a Friday or Saturday, usually is what I'd recommend. Now, you want to make sure their chicken coop is secured, because you need to go in there. You need to make sure if they have an automatic coop door, it's set to turn off that night. This is like Thursday or Friday night. Their chicken coop is not open tomorrow. So now we need to determine how large your car is going to be. If you don't have a car, you can probably call someone up to go help you out with the move. So I would recommend that. So what you need to do there is you need to pack them up there, sort of. So you're going to sort of pack them up there. So the way you pack them up is quite simple. So let me give you a little tutorial. Alright, so now you want to get like a dog container or something, like a dog kennel. One that can fit in your car, obviously. Now, I chose this little pasta can right here because I really needed something to use and I didn't want to use my dog kennels. You want to make sure there's a floor in it, because we're not going to allow your shavings to spill out. But that leads me to my first thing. You need to put shavings in this thing, so let's do that. Now, this is the only thing I'm going to be able to put in this, because I'm not going to put in feed and water because it's too small for that, but here. So you're going to want to put feed and water, and because they're going to use up their water really quickly and their feed really quickly, what I recommend doing is putting some feed in your car's trunk. And their water, I would recommend going to, like, I don't know, like the Stop and Shop or Walmart or your local convenience store, picking up a lot of water, a lot of bottles of water, specifically for refilling that. You want to stop by at the side of the road or like a highway stop to refill this. If you're on the highway, if you're on the road, you can just pull over, I think. And then you want to add that into here. And I'm going to give you a quick tip. If you have aggressive chickens or roosters, I'm going to say it's so easy to just cage them separately, but you're going to need multiple cages. You could have a lot of small cages or a couple of large cages. I'd recommend a smaller one for these types of chickens as well. Alright, so you're in your car, or for some people, RVs, because, you know, some people live in RVs. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're driving on the best roads. I believe there's a feature that can show you the best roads, or the least bumpiest ones. I want you to avoid loud construction, because, like, you know, chickens, they love living in, like, really quiet, picturesque, not really picturesque, but, like, you get what I'm trying to say here. Very quiet conditions, just stuff that overall is just so quiet and just doesn't, like, you know what I'm trying to say here. Another tip I can give for you here is, really just, like, double downing on making their environment cool and dark. Now, in your car, if it's in the middle of summer when you're moving, you might want to have the AC on, because for a lot of people it's like 95, 100 degrees during the summer on a good day. So keep the AC on. If it's the winter, keep the heat on. I'd recommend keeping your car, a good rule of thumb is to keep your car about what the chickens love, which is around your average high temperature for about May to early June. So for me, that's about 70 degrees, so I'm going to say keep your car just about 70 degrees. I'd recommend between 67 and 74 degrees, maybe a bit over or under, but really far lower than that. Their chickens are going to be very uncomfortable. Another thing, double down on your dark environment, so smaller cages that, like some people used to, like, transport their cats to the vet. are really useful for keeping a couple chickens in. Maybe you can find bigger ones. These are so useful, and I cannot... They make it really nice and cool in there, but also provide them enough of light. But if you really want them to be cool while sleeping, I'd recommend covering that up. So now once you've arrived there, I want you to set your yard up immediately. Put the chickens, but not let them out. I'll put the chickens in their yard, so that way they're confined in their coop. Make sure they're provided with food and water. You want to keep this up for just about another 26 hours, 24 to 28 hours. After you move there, I'd recommend just to chill, like no outside, get used to the new coop, because they're gonna be really confused. And I recommend keeping their lawn. You see this field? This is the maximum height for grass I'd recommend. If there's other weeds there, like little flowers, please do research on those. That way you can tell it's poisonous and not. And if you're moving to an all-new growing zone, which if you're wondering what a growing zone is, it's basically a zone of which plants will grow, I would 150% recommend you to check and see what plants grow here, so that way you can grow a really tiny garden specifically for chicken treats. And also make sure you also check other things such as like predators. I'd recommend that before you move there, you set up a couple trail cameras, and once you move there, check that, use that 24-hour period to check and see what's on there while also setting up your setup. So yeah, if you found this information useful, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Just remember, some piece of information might vary depending on where you live, but other than that, I'm out. Bye.